Good evening and welcome to a brand new series of Spotted, a show made entirely by our students at the University of West London. This is the gallery, the nerve centre, and what you might call the pressure cooker. Let's take a look. Hey guys.
Get to the floor. Stand by.
Let's get out of here. And boy, do we have a fantastic show of music and drama lined up for you tonight. We start off with two up-and-coming actors from the University of West London who perform a scene from the play Colder Than Here.
Mum's disappearing and you're fucking about like it's your disaster. It's not about you now.
A song by singer-songwriter Max Taylor.
Kiss me one more time, for I'll see you in the morning, standing in a line. And don't you ever...
And last but not least, an excerpt from La La Land performed by another two wonderful actors, Victor and Matilda.
A dream.
This is my dream!
This is not your dream!
And everything you're about to see was shot right here in this very room. And for our first drama piece, From Colder Than Here, a play about love, death and grief.
Do you miss her?
Do I miss her?
Yeah, like when people say missing you already, when they're saying goodbye. I miss her already.
Thought I'd wait till she's gone myself.
Those places. Give me a death wish. Like, the other day I got home from work and it was a really shit day. And I wanted her there. And I got home and just gripped by it, desperately wanted her. I'm lying in bed crying my eyes out and there's no one else. No one else is good enough. Kind of frightening getting that, I want my mummy. Hadn't felt that in years. I mean, when's the last time you felt that, like, your whole body?
I can't remember.
So basic, like the cord or something being pulled out from, yeah.
What did you do?
Can't cry all day, can you? You run out. Packed a bag and went round to mum's.
Did you tell her?
Of course not, but I keep thinking about the next time that I feel like... You ever get days where just breathing too deeply makes you cry?
How long are you planning to stay at home?
Don't know.
Because it seems you've pretty much moved back in.
Plenty of time for living in a shit flat on my own when she's...
Don't you think maybe they need some time? Just them.
She'd ask.
Come on, she couldn't ask that.
Why not?
Because you'd react like you always do.
Like what?
Like everything's your tragedy and no one else's.
I don't really... I'm having a really shitty time right now, in case you hadn't...
See? You see, this is it, exactly.
What?
You're always having a shitty time. You're this fragile, little spiky tissue paper thing we all have to look after. And if we have to cancel our holidays because you got jumped, or we have to go to hospital in the middle of the night because you got too happy with the Alco Pops, and our mum's disappearing and you're fucking about like it's your disaster. It's not about you now. You haven't been to the hospital once.
I'm scared of hospitals. Mum knows.
Maybe I'm scared of burial grounds, but I fucking went, didn't I?
When did you start swearing?
Only swear when I'm really fucked off.
Are we going to go there and argue once we've buried her there, do you think?
We're not burying her there. It's too bleak.
Yeah, it is. Isn't even a bloody loo. Sorry. It's hard, you know.
Yeah.
Thank you, ladies. That was wonderful. You brought this piece to us because you performed it for the theatre. How different was it to perform it for multi-camera?
It was a lot different because with multi-camera you've got less of a freedom of movement. Like it's in theatre you can change it every single time and like run around and do whatever you want with it kind of, and like there's no set positions really because we weren't doing it for like there wasn't any lights to worry about or anything, but here you have to know that you're in a specific shot so that the camera can see you, and that's the most important thing because if the camera can't see you then there's no point in the whole thing.
And there's normally less like stopping and starting in rehearsal for theatre as well. You do like a run through, then someone might give you notes and like help you out with it, whereas I found here it was more like you have to stop and then go back to the start or start from the same place and getting those shots before you even begin. It's a great experience though. It's good to have the opportunity to do that.
Do you think there's skills you can transfer back towards theatre from having done this?
100%, definitely. I think it's good to have because we've always been told, oh, you need to like be able to play with it and just do like make it different every time. But I think you can like hone in on what you can get the best performance out of it, and then you can repeat that performance. I think even if it's just a little bit different in different parts. But I just think it's.
You find what works, and then you don't have to change what works all the time. Like if it's not broken, don't fix it.
Yeah.
But I also found like it felt so much more intimate, so it's easier to find that kind of truth in it. And like I find it a lot easier to like listen to your partner and reacting off that to find something that isn't just created and isn't just false, but you actually feel a part of that, and then you can put that into the performance.
It's a really good experience to get those, like to have the cameras and everything around you that's kind of distracting you, but you're still able to, if you're still able to like listen to your partner whilst there's like 20 other people in the room and there's like cameras pointing at you and moving around and stuff, then you can take that back into the theatre where there's none of that again. And I think that'll like improve our like listening like kind of skills and stuff like that. So yeah.
So as fellow students, when are you two graduating?
May, June
yeah.
time,
That's the end of
third year.
This year? Okay,
Yeah.
you're both
Yeah.
in third year. Wow.
Yeah.
So what would be your plans when you do eventually get to that point?
I think I'm just gonna see what happens, to be honest. I'm like sending millions of like emails to people, and like hopefully with the showcase and stuff that we do in April showcase that we do in April, hopefully we all get an agent and those kind of things, and then but like I think we're both really quite interested in like devising projects of our own as well.
Yeah,
and, like,
definitely.
Well, with what you showed today, definitely both of you do have a bright future ahead of you, so thank you.
Thank you.
And here with me now is the director of that piece, Nathan. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
So what's your experience with directing in the past?
Well, I've shot a few short films and I've really enjoyed it. Using single cam is quite different from using a multi-cam shoot.
So you've worked on films primarily with single camera, so multi-camera. How is it that much different?
I would say the main thing is with single camera shoots, you tend to be on the set and engaged a lot more with the people that are there. With multi-camera, you are quite separated, so you tend to be in another room and you call the shots. You can still see everything on screens, but you're generally not face-to-face with the people.
So did that make it more difficult to interact with actors?
No, not at all, because I tend to deal with the actors beforehand, then I head to the room, and if there is any trouble, it's easy to just pop back and tell them what you wanted changed, or what they were doing really well, or what needed fixing, and so on.
So how is it working with what I assume a much larger crew of cameras and multiple people you have to micromanage?
To be honest, there is a lot of pressure. It does begin to mount, but once things get going and people are engaged with the film work, it turns out really well. It's very satisfying at the end of the day to get a completed shoot using multi-cameras.
So did you feel like you learned a lot from this experience?
Definitely, especially being able to handle pressure, like I mentioned. That's one of the biggest things that you don't get from a single camera shoot, whereas this one, it's live, so if you make a mistake, you pretty much have to go straight to the beginning.
So on a more personal note, did you feel like you thrived in the pressure, or did you feel like it got to you at times? But in the end, obviously, we could see it looked great, so...
Oh, thank you.
We're all very happy with it, but do you think you thrived in that pressure?
I would definitely say a bit of both. I think in the beginning it's very intimidating and there's a lot of things to think about. But towards the end, once you can see what you've done, it seems to be quite satisfying after everything just clicks, because you're literally just one part of a bigger unit, and if that unit functions like I think it did very well, the end product turns out very well.
So it's about being more of a cog in the wheel.
Definitely, and you have to play your role, as is everyone in the team. If someone doesn't play their role, it doesn't work out.
So how did you feel it was have to have your eyes in so many places on so many cameras?
Yeah,
'Cause I know that's something I would struggle with.
Definitely, because there are 4 screens, 4 cameras that you have to look at, and then one camera that shows the live cut,
Yeah.
and that happens right in front of you.
Thank you for joining me. And next, we have new music from a new up-and-coming performer. Hello, Max.
Hi Stuart, it's great to be here.
Great to have you. So how did you get your start in music?
I first started in music when I picked up the guitar when I was 5 years old. Yeah.
So what made you pick up the guitar over other instruments?
I think it was my mum sort of wanted me to pick up an instrument. I thought that was the coolest one out of all of them.
Okay, so are there any guitar players in particular that inspired you to choose that over others?
I really like sort of like early blues guitarists like Jimi Hendrix and Jimmy Page, all the Jimmys basically.
I'm a fan of Hendrix as well, I can see that. But what really inspired you to make the music the way you do now?
I think for like acoustic guitar music, it would be the way that artists like Elliott Smith like sort of structure chords and use melody, but really minimalistic in their sort of acoustic guitar playing.
So do you feel like that's how you try and do your music now, and you've emulated that into your style?
I wouldn't say emulated, but I've definitely been influenced by his work and others.
So you've tried to pay homage to without
directly just stealing
cut and pasting
stuff. Yeah.
So you're studying music as well alongside this. Do you think it's influenced how you make your music?
Oh, definitely, because because I work in production, I get to know artists from other sort of genres and from other parts of the world, and that sort of has an influence on what I do and how I make music now.
So what are you going to be performing for us today?
Today I'm going to be performing a song called Is That Mars that I wrote a few weeks ago.
What can you tell us about it?
It's like sort of like a love song about a girl that I met in America and how I'm sort of missing her.
So how is it? How do you think it's going to be performing here, different to other venues you've been performing in before?
Usually I'm performing in front of a crowd, but so it's going to be a bit weird doing it in front of the cameras, but we'll give it a crack.
Do you think it changes the way you have to play, or is it very much the same?
I don't think it changes how I have to play, but it's just the whole environment is just different.
So you have a different thought process going through your head while you yeah. I guess is the pressure less or more because of the cameras?
I don't know if it's less or more, but it's just like a different sort of pressure because it's sort of like a one take sort of thing. But if it's in front of people, maybe they could be a bit more forgiving.
Well, feel free to take your place.
All right, cool. Thank you.
It's a name you might not have heard of thus far, but definitely keep an eye out for it. You're going to be seeing a lot more of it. Max Taylor performing Is That Mars?
You and me and you, we got lots of things to do. Stay up late, counting stars, or is that Mars? Mars. We grew up long ago, but we run like we didn't know. Oh, won't you stay with me and wait for sunlight? Lights. Oh, please kiss me one more time, for I'll see you in the morning, standing in a line. And don't you ever fear, my dear, 'cause I've got you right where I want you. lots of things to do. Stay up late counting stars, or is that Mars? Mars. Two worlds apart, joined together at the heart, saying words they don't know, waiting for a time to show. Oh, please kiss me one more time, for I'll see you in the morning, standing in a line. And don't you ever fear, my dear, 'cause I've got you right where I want you, even though you're not so near.
Joining us now is one of our esteemed cameramen and fellow student, Lachlan.
Hi.
Thank you for joining me.
Thanks for
How does
having
it feel to be on the other side of the camera?
Yeah, it's weird. I'm trying really hard to not be thinking about what other people are doing, but yeah, it's good. It's nice.
'Cause obviously you've become used to now capturing the actors and
Yeah.
musicians. But do you feel like it's, I've noticed you had a lot of the moving shots. Do you feel like it was often difficult to stay tracked onto that person and understand the movements preemptively?
It's been a learning process trying to like understand, you know, how to actually like, it's simple, like how difficult it is to like, you know, fine tune like,
Yeah.
and get comfortable on the camera enough that you can do those small adjustments and all those, you know, those bigger moves without, you know, sort of jeopardising the shot, which is something that I've really learnt from this process for sure.
So have you worked with cameras before?
Yeah, I've done a lot in like my first year and like stuff in college, but the college stuff was like with DSLRs and stuff like that. So it wasn't really this sort of standard or level. But no, it's all stuff that I've learnt before, but I'm kind of, you know, piecing it all together and trying to put
honing
into
it, yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
So is the fact that you're doing it all live now one of the big shake-ups to that?
Yeah, especially when you sort of the idea that you can't sort of go back and do one shot. It's the whole thing has to be redone. So that's a lot of pressure, which kind of you know understanding that you are that important in a shoot is kind of a natural amount of pressure. But yeah.
So how was it working with multiple directors as you have done on the different shoots?
It's been interesting learning how everyone does everything differently. There's certain directors which are more direct. There's more which are like kind of more a relaxed approach, but they're like assertive with what they want to do. And it's understanding that as long as I do my job correctly, then it's fine.
So do you find the communication's very different between different directors?
Yeah, it definitely differs because you kind of have different relationships with different people, and because we all are students. There's that natural sort of chemistry already, so it does make it a lot easier, but it is different.
Yeah, on the note of you being a student, you feel like you've learned some more skills you can take forward further in your course?
Oh, 100%, yeah. I think there's understanding and, like I said, learning about the cameras in general and how to set everything up and how important it is to have certain shots in certain places for certain things to capture, then definitely learned that.
So do you plan on continuing your camera work after you graduate?
Yeah, for sure. I probably wouldn't follow it as a career path, but I definitely interested in it for sure.
Well, thank you for joining me. It's
Thank
been wonderful having you. And next, it will be another drama piece, scene from La La Land, performed by Matilda and Victor, our very own Ryan Gosling and Emma Stone.
What time do you leave in the morning?
6:45.
Ugh.
You should come with.
Wish I could.
Why can't you?
Because I have to rehearse.
Can't you rehearse anywhere?
You mean anywhere you are?
I guess.
Well, I have all my stuff here. And my show's in a few weeks. I don't know, it doesn't seem practical.
Right. We have to do things So we see each other. I mean, we never see each other.
I know. But when are you done?
What do you mean?
I mean, when are you done with the tour?
As soon as we're done with the tour, we go back and record it, and then we go back on tour again.
So it's the long haul.
What does that mean?
I mean, the long haul, like you're gonna be in this tour for a long time.
What did you think I was going to do?
I don't know. I didn't know that this band would...
Oh, you didn't know that this band was going to be successful.
No, that was not what I meant. What I meant was, this band you're gonna be in for what years now?
What are you doing? Why are you doing this?
What do you mean, why am I doing
This is what you wanted from me. Anyway. It's time to grow up, you know? This is what I'm going to do. If you had a problem with it, you should have said something before I signed on the dotted line.
You had a dream.
This
that
is my dream!
This is not your dream!
Guys like me never get to do something that is liked. I finally find something that people enjoy. What is wrong with that?
Why do you care so much about being liked?
You're an actor. You want to talk. Maybe you liked me better when I was a failure, so you'd feel better about yourself.
Are you kidding?
No.
That was absolutely wonderful, and thank you both for joining me today.
Thank you.
So, in the piece we just watched, you were both playing performers. So do you feel like you had any particular insight or anything that resonated with you from the characters you were acting as?
Yeah, I mean, the struggle of being a performer is there. It's when you're in a relationship as a performer, it's really difficult sometimes when you have to go on tour, for instance, or when you have a performance coming up and you're working really, really hard, you're working really late, you're doing a lot of, I mean, you work from 9 a.m. to in the morning.
It's almost like 24/7.
Yeah, sometimes it is. And you come home, you go to sleep, you wake up and you go again. So you don't have that time together. And that really comes out in this piece, I think.
Yeah, really, like to find connections somewhere and to really try to engage.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
So you saw a lot of your own relationships in there.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. It's really
Absolutely.
like having a relationship in this, like being a performer, is difficult today, I think, because the industry is so demanding sometimes. They need you to work late. They need you to do a lot, and especially if you're going on tour, it's crazy.
it's a lot of
sometimes.
time that disappears.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So do you think with both of you having moved from Sweden to the UK for acting school and having a similar background, that it allowed you to have that inbuilt synergy in the scene you performed together?
I don't think it was particularly
No,
that we're from the same country. I think it's
No.
because since we're from
Human
the same
beings.
country, we started to talk when Matilda moved here, and
Yeah.
we became friends quite quickly. Possibly because of similar backgrounds.
Yeah, exactly. Like you
But-
feel the
But I think the connection was there anyway, and you can have that connection with anyone as long as you engage with a person. And yeah, I mean, we're good friends outside of uni
Yeah.
as well, so that definitely helps us.
Of course, like do it with your friend. It's also like it's more natural. Just feel relaxed. So
Yeah.
it's
Yeah,
and to have fun.
Yeah, exactly, because you can play around with it, and you don't have to be afraid of doing something that's gonna be misunderstood, or it's like
Yes,
if you feel like you have a good relationship to the other actor, it's just freeing, and you can do almost anything in the space.
Do either of you have much experience with multi-camera work before?
No, I never done it. Never done it.
I've
Only
done one.
yeah. Yeah, like
Yeah.
one camera. This was really nice. Like, but you couldn't really notice at all. Like, I saw mine camera, but yeah.
I've only done one multi-camera shot before, but I think I enjoyed more than having a single camera move around, because the takes are so they're not what's it called, continuous. You have to do one take and then you break and then you do another take and you break. So the reactions are not as natural sometimes.
Yeah.
Because you have to do, like, now we're doing this part and then we do this part of the scene, and it
go
really
back.
breaks it up. And even if you do one shot first and then a second shot, it's going to be completely different. Whereas here you get the journey is correct because everything is happening at the same time. So I do enjoy this work more than single camera shots.
Well, it's been wonderful to hear from you both, and
Yeah.
thank you for joining me.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
And here with me now is the director of that piece, Sab. Welcome, Sab.
Thank you for having me.
So, how's your experience been with directing with multi-camera?
Well, it was really tough, but at the same time it was really nice to deal with all the screen in front of me and to also communicate with my team inside the room. So I had a special relation with the gallery PA who was telling me all the time the show that I had to call. And yeah, it was really nice to collaborate with the people in the other room, with the cameraman, and to deal with them to try to get the best shot possible. That really helped me to understand how multi-camera works, and yeah, I really like it.
Yeah, we spoke to Lachlan and Nathan about it already a little bit, but I'd be interested to hear your perspective on how the communication is when you're so separated in another room in the gallery compared to in here.
Well, vocabulary is really important. So in multi-camera you have like a specific vocabulary that you have to learn in order to deliver the best message possible. So you have to sort of like learn this vocabulary and yeah, and try to be really clear. So you have to speak really loud. That was like a bit of my problem because my voice is really it's not that loud, so I had to like sort of improve that during this process. But yes, at the end, like I think I done it.
So, how does it compare to your directing experience in the past?
Well, I've done just co-directing in last year. It's really different with co-directing. You have like your own team, so you basically you know your team, so you know how you you can deal with some problems that you can afford during you can face during the process. So it's for me it's easier like co-directing. But yeah, at the end I think multi-camera helps me to shape my my own my own personality. I mean, just helped me to make me more strong as a director.
So you found taking the reins yourself made it a bit more fulfilling?
Yeah,
You got
definitely.
more out of it. And so do you feel like, as you said, your style, you were allowed to hone it a bit more, you were allowed to get a bit more out of it, that you'd continue with solo directing over co-directing?
Yeah, I think I'll continue with co-directing. But yeah, this experience really helped me to.
Unfortunately, that is all we've got time for tonight, and thank you for joining us so much, and please join us again on another edition of Spotted. Goodbye.